Okay, so our recent GRDC funded research has identified that the success of next year's canola establishment could be determined on how you harvest this year's canola seed crop. So if you grow and retain your own canola seed, you really need to be aware of some of the key seed crop principles. So the key principles of seed crop production: firstly, we want to have prolonged and favourable conditions during seed fill with a slow seed moisture dry down period. Secondly, we want to produce large seed with low seed chlorophyll levels. And thirdly, we want to ensure that that seed crop has had adequate phosphorus fertiliser. Now, harvest management is going to affect seed size, but it's also one of the main factors to influence seed chlorophyll levels. So seed chlorophyll doesn't affect germination, but it does reduce seedling vigour. The higher the chlorophyll levels, the poorer the seedling vigour. Now, chlorophyll levels are highest around 25-30 days after the start of flowering, and they reduce over time until the crop reaches harvest maturity. It's actually enzymes within the seed that do the breaking down of the chlorophyll. Now, if the seed crop dries down too quickly, chlorophyll can get trapped within the seed. So therefore, from a harvest management perspective, desiccating your seed crop is going to accelerate the speed in seed moisture dry down, which could obviously increase the risk of trapping chlorophyll within the seed. Now, once the seed moisture levels get below 20%, the enzymes can no longer function to keep clearing out the chlorophyll. So therefore, the preferred option of harvest management is to allow that seed crop to naturally mature, as it's going to have a slower seed moisture dry down period compared to desiccation. Now, obviously, one of the other benefits of that is that you're also going to maximise your seed size. Now, if direct heading is not a possibility for you, the key concept would be to ensure that leave windrowing as late as possible, around 75 to 80% seed colour change, and if it's really hot, windrow in the cool of the evening. Again, all you're trying to do is slow the seed moisture the seed moisture dry down period, so the enzymes can clear out as much chlorophyll as possible. So plant density affects canopy architecture, and canopy architecture affects the amount of seed variability within the one plant. So here we have two examples. We've got a low plant density stand and a high plant density stand. Now, it's pretty clear the low plant density stand has a lot more lower lateral branches compared to the high plant density stand. High plant density stand has thinner stems, generally speaking, but there's much less seed development variability between the main stem and the lower branches. We compare that to a low plant density stand. We've got our main stem up here, but we've got a lot more seed yield coming from these lower lateral branches. Now, the seed produced on these lower branches are less mature than the main stem, which means that they're going to be in greater risk of frost or heat stress. But also another important factor is that the seed on these lower branches are going to have a lot quicker dry down period compared to the main stem. Therefore, a lot greater risk of trapping chlorophyll within the seed in a low plant density stand. So as far as glyphosate, don't apply glyphosate to your seed crop. Whilst it doesn't increase seed chlorophyll levels, it does change the metabolic seed development of the seed. It reduces vigour and it reduces hypocotyl length. Now, the effect of applying glyphosate is going to be much worse when the seed crop has a much higher seed moisture content. So, for example, if it's 25% seed colour change, you're going to have a lot more extreme effect of glyphosate on vigour compared to if it was at 75% seed colour change. The key messages are: select a paddock that flowered within the critical flowering period. Secondly, ensure that seed crop has a high plant density. Thirdly, allow that seed crop to naturally mature. And if you can't do that, ensure that windrowing occurs as late as possible, around 75 to 80% seed colour change. And fourthly, make sure you avoid using glyphosate on your seed crop.